Hey there, I'm Jesse Wilkins, and welcome to another paranormal update from Hometown Ghost Stories. Today, we're going to talk about haunted pubs, the Annabelle doll, and some updates on some other news stories in and around the world. In the world, I'm Jesse Wilkins, and this is Paranormal Update. What's up, folks? Broadcasting live from somewhere in the world is Hometown Ghost Stories with another paranormal update. I'm Jesse Wilkins. I'm joined by Rob Coakley. Hello, Rob.
I like to think that it's a hollow earth situation and we are just like inside with the reptilians.
Yep. Well, I'm in my house. Speaking of being in a house, there's Dave.
Here I am, and we are not live.
I can't believe you haven't removed me from this position yet. Another paranormal update. We got some news stories for you, folks. And where do we want to start it?
Well, we gotta talk about the Annabelle doll. We gotta talk about a haunted pub. But I think we started off with this silly little article I found that it's not paranormal, and it has nothing to do with cryptids, but it is a weird thing that happened, and I found it very amusing, and it's very short. So these types of things amuse me. So let's start it off with this.
Well, then let me just do a little update here. Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live from somewhere in the world, Hometown Ghost Stories paranormal update with the Annabelle doll, ghosts in bars, and something weird with Dave.
I like something weird with Dave as a segment. I think that's kind of funny. This one,
you do that sometimes. Yeah, the cat story. But the cat that was kind of like just
this one
walking home for a long time.
This one might present weirder, but then be a little bit less weird once you figure out the reason for it. But so I'm not going to read the headline. I'm just going to read the story. Players enjoying a game of disc golf at the Splinter City Disc Golf Course in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina last month bore witness to a bizarre interruption that they certainly won't be forgetting in a hurry. The incident, which occurred May 18th, saw the game suspended after a hammerhead shark suddenly fell from the sky and landed on the green near the 18th hole of the course.
From the sky?
Yeah. Yeah, the headline is actually "Shark Falls from Sky Interrupts Disc Golf Match in South Carolina." And I was like, all right, you got me.
You got to end the game.
We couldn't believe it.
And you think?
No shit. Obviously you couldn't believe it.
It's a fucking Sharknado going on right now, apparently. Jesus.
We couldn't believe it and kept asking ourselves, did this really just happen? Witness Jonathan Marlowe told Garden and Gun magazine. I thought it would be a random fish.
Garden and Gun magazine? What is that magazine?
I know.
For those who don't trust your plants.
Don't trust my funds. So I put googly eyes on them. So how exactly did a shark wind up falling onto a golf course? As it turns out, it was a baby shark, and it had been in the talons of an osprey at the time, and the bird was suddenly startled by some crows, and it dropped the catch directly onto the course, much to the shock of the disc golfers. So that's the story of the shark in the golf course.
There's a lot going on in this story, including the name of the publication that I am just bewildered by.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I don't know what I would think if I saw just a shark come flying out of the sky. No. What omen? Like you can't keep playing disc golf at that point. What do you do with the shark?
I don't know. I'll share a picture of the guy holding the shark though, because it's pretty adorable.
Adorable? It's an adorable shark?
Yes.
All right, show me this baby shark. Oh.
There he is.
Damn. Now I feel sad because it is a baby shark.
Yeah. And it is a hammerhead, which is definitely one of the more bizarre designs of a creature.
Yeah.
If you want to use the term design. But yeah. That is the weird story of the day. That was something weird with Dave.
Well, I'm so glad you've pigeonholed yourself into this segment that you're going to have to do.
Oh, I love
paranormal update now.
I don't have to do it every paranormal update, but we can sprinkle them in when I find something.
Yes, absolutely. Do we want to get into... Do you guys want me to just talk about the haunted pub real quick?
Yeah.
So this comes from the Scottish Sun magazine, and I'm just going to read the headline as written. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Spooky stuff! It was in all caps.
Thank you.
Inside UK's most haunted pub, stalked by a ghost named Cedric, where taps turn themselves on and figure in photos. They forgot to put the end parentheses there, though. Just a few minutes from London's Hyde Park, a ghost called Cedric supposedly spooks punters. Punters? What's a punter? By playing tricks on customers and staff. We're going to have to have our UK people tell us what a punter is. The Grenadier in Belgravia is a former officer's mess tucked away down a cobbled mews. A lot of words going on in this story that I don't know what's happening. It is said to have both a celebrity and royal clientele, having reportedly attracted the likes of Prince William, as well as Brad Pitt, Lady Gaga, and Madonna, as well as billionaire Manchester owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
So a punter is just slang for like a customer.
It's an interesting saying for a customer.
That's just coming from your international correspondent, Jesse. Currently in Europe, actually. Hey.
Unlike most old city pubs, it is not just home to tiled fireplaces and red leather couches. According to some, the tiny tavern hosts a former junior Grenadier guard. The story goes that the young man was caught cheating at a game of cards one evening in September of 1818 after his comrades beat him to death in the cellar.
Oh, comrades.
Comrades. Good friends. Best friends.
Couple of buddies beating him to death.
Cedric's ghost never left. Customers believing the supernatural now flock to the pub with the hope of talking to him. One staff member who has worked at the Boozer for 10 years. Like, I really feel like we should have had someone from Scotland read this thing, because this is written by somebody from Scotland. You know, the old punter at the Boozer.
Bunch of punters at the Boozer.
We finally got Rob to do a European accent, and he did the wrong country.
Wrong country. Told the Sun, we definitely have people coming in who believe the pub is haunted. Some say they've seen a figure appearing in the building after closing. Others say they've witnessed strange events, like the taps turning on by themselves in the bathroom. Because, you know, Scottish pubs, their bathrooms even have taps.
That's right.
A few years ago, there was a family who took a
Why
photo.
has Dave been in the bathroom all night?
There's taps in there.
It's free in there.
A few years ago, there was a family who took a photo in front of a mirror. They said there was a figure in the photo. That mirror has since been taken down. Why?
There should be a figure in the mirror when you're standing in front of the mirror.
Yes, or you're a vampire. The bartender said that some customers visit the pub with the specific intention of contacting Cedric. He explained, quote, "We have a group of Ghostbusters who come in regularly. They bring their Ouija board and try to talk to Cedric. According to them, there is more than one ghost here. Other people get scared, though. They're on edge. We've had people start working here who get nervous once they hear the story. One regular customer, Justin Mitchell, said he has never had an experience with Cedric, but had met plenty of other punters who believed they had. The 42-year-old dad, who was on holiday in London from Houston, Texas, said, I always pop in here when I'm in London, as I got married around the corner. Personally, I've never had a ghostly experience here, and I've been the only person at the bar before." This is Dave. "But over the years, I've met people who believe. Some people congregate here especially to try to contact the ghost. And everyone who comes in here hears the story. I expect people will continue visiting for that very reason. He seems to be a friendly ghost. He has never done anything nasty," said Paul Hongett, former deputy manager in 2015. Speaking to The Independent, he believes he once spotted Cedric, but only for a brief instant. It was just a black figure. It was too dark to notice any facial features, he recalled. I have never felt scared, really. Never was scared. Wasn't me.
Yeah.
So we didn't even say he was scared then.
Yeah.
He just brought it up.
Yeah.
I have still never been scared before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's somebody that's lying. Like, I wasn't scared. It wasn't me.
Well, hang on. Can you read that line again? Are you sure it doesn't say I've never been that scared before?
It said, it was just a black figure. It was too dark to notice any facial features, he recalled. I have never felt scared, really. Like, really, I've never been
man's
scared.
Just never been scared. Not even seeing the ghost.
Then how do you know you were scared in that moment?
He didn't say he was scared in that moment
He
either.
said he was never scared.
He just flat out said at the end of that, he's like, I've never. He's basically saying like, I've never had a hammerhead shark dropped on my head while playing disc golf.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a fact.
Yeah,
and this man has never been scared before, even when he saw that ghost.
Yeah, he just sings that Bone Crusher song on repeat. I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared.
I think that's the only Bone Crusher song, actually.
I think it is also the only Bone Crusher song.
We're gonna piss off the Bone Crusher fans.
Oh no! Not the Bone Crusher fans.
There goes half our audience. Wouldn't that be a huge surprise if everyone's like, dude, I listen to this man all the time. All I listen to is Bone Crusher. I do it and I stand in my kitchen and I crush chicken bones and I get in the zone. Call it the Bone Zone.
Oh no. He said, beside glasses breaking and icy chills, one day a staff member was setting up a table alone. But when he came back, the chairs had all been moved to the other room. The ceilings and walls of the boozer are covered by foreign currency stapled to it, and newspaper cuttings spread all around the front room. Punter Gary Wright previously explained the money is recognition of the story, with some people believing they are effectively paying off the debt. That is why they leave the money, is they're paying off Cedric's debt for him. And then the story just abruptly ends.
No.
And that was how they ended the story. So that is the story.
I wish they would give us an update on whether or not that man has been scared yet to this day.
We should just get a counter every day. Have you been scared yet, sir? No.
Somebody scared this man. Somebody that, like, folks, if you're listening to this episode, you live in Scotland or England or wherever the story takes place, find this man. Scare this man.
Yes.
I actually don't think you should, because if you're successful, he's going to have a heart attack because he's not going to know how to deal.
Nobody knows because we don't know how he's going to react. But I guess play on the safe side and don't kill this man.
I also think he's a liar. I think he's always scared. I think he's just trying to play tough. Like
he's in a perpetual state of fear. Therefore, he doesn't know that he's that's what fear is.
Might even be worse, actually.
It's like those guys who are always like, I've never lost a fight before. It's like, it sounds like you probably lost a couple.
Probably lost a few.
Or have never been in one.
Yeah, well, that's also a true statement, though.
Yeah.
That is fair.
I'm going to go around. I've been in fights, but if I hadn't, I would now go around and be like, I've never won a fight before. If you're one of those very kind people who has never been in a physical altercation before, you could start saying that to people. I've never won a fight before. It's true. Also true statement. You can take it either way. But you run the risk if you go out and say that you've never lost a fight before, that someone's going to challenge you on that. But if you say I never won a fight before, someone just might let you kick their ass. Just be nice to you. So it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the Annabelle doll, because this is a pretty big in the news, and or at least it was. And but this doll is actually still on, like, its nationwide tour, whatever it's doing. We think we know what it's doing. Mm-hmm. But this is from USA Today from a couple weeks ago. It says, "Is the haunted doll Annabelle?" Don't like the way that's worded. I'm going to fix it. "Is the haunted Annabelle doll to blame for the plantation fire? The internet says yes." I'm going to say no, but we'll hear him out. "Is a demonic doll touring the U.S. to blame for mishaps in Louisiana? That's what the internet is saying, which has led to a ghost tour company receiving multiple death threats." Didn't know about that.
No, from Annabelle?
I think you immediately need to retract your statement and be nice about this.
Yeah, right. Ghost City Tours hosted and sold tickets to the public to see Annabelle, the haunted Raggedy Ann doll that inspired the movie Annabelle, which is part of the Conjuring universe. It also inspired the movie The Conjuring, or parts of it anyways.
Just keep going. Which was inspired by the Amityville haunting, which was inspired by...
Which was also inspired by Raggedy Ann.
Which was inspired by the devil. It was nice to have our own weird event, said Tim Nealon, the founder and president of and former... Like, all right, dude, relax with the titles. Tim Nealon, the founder, the president, the former CEO of Ghost City Tours. Like, dude,
calm down, dude.
God complex. Like, relax.
I now know how I'm going to intro Hometown Ghost Stories from now on.
Yeah, like we get it. You're the boss.
This is awesome.
This is how I got to intro you now, rather than just piggybacking off whatever conversation me and Rob briefly have before I talk to you.
Co-founder, co-president, co-CEO,
owner of our bank account, guy who goes to the P.O. box far too.
Actually, far too
not frequently enough. Sorry.
I would accept.
Ed, please don't let me forget to intro you as the owner of our P.O. box every single time.
I technically am. However, despite the success of the sold-out event, the internet began to blame the escape of 10 inmates from a New Orleans jail and a fire that destroyed the Notway plantation on Annabelle's visit.
My favorite part of that breakout of that jail was that they all just wrote notes above the hole that they broke out of, and someone just wrote "too easy," LOL.
Yeah, but they spelled "too" wrong. I went and I found that image. I was like, they wrote "T-O."
Yeah,
pet peeve of mine, but they're in a rush.
I would say so.
No, I'm actually surprised you took the time to carve that. Like, dude.
Yeah,
and you better not get caught after that.
Yeah, you can't.
Right. So I do hope that when he got arrested, because I think they've all been caught now. I do hope that when he got arrested, the cops were like, "Too easy finding you." Yeah. But okay, if they had brought Annabelle to the prison. Maybe, but a prison break just doesn't feel like it has anything to do with a curse. We're talking about New Orleans. Great time. Love New Orleans. High crime rate. Bad things happen in that city every day. So you cannot just pick a bad thing that happened, which if you consider it bad, I love prison breaks. When they get out and they kill someone, then not great. Or if they commit crimes when they get out, which is oftentimes the case, that's not great. But I love a good prison break story. That's so cool. You got out. That's the only, like, when you get to prison, right? And I've not done time in prison, but I would assume that's on everyone's mind, right? Like, can we get out? Can we break out of here? That's gotta cross everybody's mind. Like, okay, is this toilet loose? Is this vent loose? I guarantee you 100% of inmates have checked to see if something's loose in their cell to see if they can get out.
Yeah. And if you want to attribute that to a demonic curse, right? You're saying this is a curse. That's a bad thing. It depends on who you're asking. Because if you're like one of the prisoners who got out, and this is kind of the point you were making, but like, they're like, you escaped. That's fantastic. Like, do you know it was attributed to a curse? It's like, hey, my curse. Like,
yeah, exactly. So had the Annabelle doll visited that prison, then maybe you could say that some kind of curse happened here. I'm going to give it a 0 out of 100 that has anything to do with the curse. The plantation burning down, that's an interesting one. If they had brought Annabelle to that plantation, or if somebody from that plantation went to go see the Annabelle doll and then their thing burnt down, maybe. I don't have any of those facts. I'm going to assume none of that happened, and I'm going to go ahead and just say I don't think anything like this has to do with the Annabelle curse.
The only way I would give it a little bit, or I'd give it actually a lot of credit, is if they brought the doll into the building and then the building burned down, and also every other building that the doll has ever been in had also burnt down. I'm like, this is definitely a curse. 100%, this is a curse. But it
right. Well, with Annabelle, I mean, so first of all, I don't think any of this has to do with an Annabelle curse. We've seen in so many of these things, and if you haven't listened to our Cursed Possession series, we have a whole series on Cursed Possessions, and one of them is about the Annabelle doll. Actually, that was a regular episode, but that was kind of the kickoff of Cursed Possessions. But we've seen in so many of these cases that curses have a wide range of things that can go wrong. Most cursed possessions that we cover, we're like, this could be this could be that. But we have seen in many of these cases, including Annabelle, that different things can go wrong tied to the curse. So, but something has to tie itself to the curse. It can't just be that it showed up in your town.
Right.
Maybe in some instances, but I feel like even if you go back to any of the popular curses, the Dybbuk box, the pharaoh, like the Egyptian pyramid stuff, just any of the popular ones, somebody does something to trigger that curse. It's not just that it's in the same town as you. Or we have seen cursed towns where the entire town is cursed, but that's not because an object showed up one day in most cases, from what I've covered so far.
Right. Well, they sometimes will try and attribute it to like one thing or another. But the problem with curses, and my overall problem with curses, is that when there's an alleged curse on something, people will just attribute every bad thing that happens to that curse. And then that just obviously inflates the curse theory. And I always feel like it's more that than an actual curse.
Yeah. Some of them are just like a matter of convenience. Right, in order to blame it, because to your point, just shit happens. It's like, oh, well, that's the curse.
I do believe that curses are real. I think that some of these curse cases are real, but I think it very much is also a case of, because there's an alleged curse, everything that goes wrong in life is because of that curse. And dude, things go wrong every single day to every single one of us, except Davey's perfect. So if there's a lingering curse, everyone's just going to blame it on that. And you see the same kind of thing with people that have haunted homes, where every little noise you attribute to that, to the haunting. And I think that's where you get a lot of this big hype in a lot of these poltergeist cases, where you have these investigators who move into the house and stay there for months or years, and they're writing books about this stuff, and they're coming up with a shopping list of things that are attributed to the poltergeist, when a lot of it could just be like a noisy house. You heard a clanging in the kitchen. Okay, the poltergeist was at it again today. Like, it might not have been. There might be poltergeist activity in your house, but that doesn't mean every bump and every noise is a poltergeist, especially in an old home.
Yeah. Overall verdict, because this Annabelle doll is still on tour. Do we?
Yeah, let's just address the elephant in the room. They're hyping up the new Conjuring movie. They put this doll on tour, and things are going wrong in any city. So you can, especially a city like New Orleans, where I believe absolutely none of it so far.
Right. They also had started this rumor that the Annabelle doll was missing, and none of it was true. So
I did not believe that for a second.
No, somebody sent me the article, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. I'm like, oh, the Annabelle doll went missing. What, just months before the new Conjuring movie drops? Oh, I'm fully bought in on that. Yeah,
that was sent in our big hometown ghost stories group chat, and of course all of us were like, oh, okay.
Sure. I will give the handlers credit, because the people, I think it's John Zaffis that takes care of the Annabelle doll. As soon as that rumor started circulating, or Tony Spera, I mean, right?
Yeah, that sounds more right.
That's what I mean. Tony Spera, he came out right away. He's like, the doll's not missing. I have the doll. So it wasn't them perpetuating it.
I do give him credit with the way that he's handled the Annabelle doll. He obviously takes it very seriously. And I've seen interviews with him where, in investigations where people are getting a little too close, and he legitimately gets pissed off about that stuff, as you should, because he's not treating it like it's fun and games and show business. Like, he treats it like
it's because it's literally his livelihood. He's treating it like it's his entire livelihood.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the only things that he does. I mean, he had a whole show on Netflix recently that was had nothing to do with the Annabelle doll, but I will say, he just seems like a professional the way that he handles it. So, and I like that when that came out, that he immediately squashed it. It just shows the professionalism around it, whether or not you believe in it.
Right. Yeah, he's going to be up in Maine for the Maine Paracon, or whatever they're calling it, in September, and we're usually really busy around that time. But if we're free that weekend, I think I'm going to try to head up to it and actually see the Annabelle doll there.
That'd be cool. Very cool. Might have to do that.
Before we wrap this, though, I want to touch on one thing that we did pretty much a whole paranormal update on a couple of weeks ago, and that was the Aaron Goodwin's wife situation. And because we have a verdict in this case now, ex-wife, right? I mean, is the divorce finalized? I mean, technically,
I don't hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable for sure, if not. But we do have a resolution in this case, which I found slightly surprising. And this article is from a week ago, and It is titled "Wife of Ghost Adventure Star Sentenced in Murder for Hire Plot." This is from TV Insider. The estranged wife of Ghost Adventure star Aaron Goodwin has been sentenced to between 3 and 7.5 years in a Nevada prison, with 92 days credited for time served after pleading guilty to a conspiracy to commit murder after hiring a hitman to kill her husband. And what the fuck is that sentence? Are you kidding me?
Unreal.
This is baffling to me, and the idea of attempted murder versus first degree murder and why those carry different weights as far as sentencing goes makes zero sense to me, because the differentiating factor between murder 1 and murder 2 and murder 1 and manslaughter is intent. So if intent is what's the difference between manslaughter and murder 1, why isn't intent heavier in attempted murder? Because the attempt is what should make it carry the heavier sentence. So why are we giving people 3-year sentences for a legitimate attempted murder? Yeah. Documented attempted murder. It makes no sense.
Yeah, like cut and dry case as well, especially one like this. And we had talked about it briefly in the last paranormal update that we covered this one, where this wasn't a sting operation where it was an FBI agent posing as a hitman. And you see that a lot. And the reason that they'll sometimes get lighter sentences in those cases is because sometimes the defense will bring up the fact that you don't know what was happening behind closed doors. You don't know if it was an entrapment situation and the officer was kind of talking them into it. This had no agent. This was clear-cut conversation between an actual psychopath scumbag murderer and Aaron Goodwin's wife, who legitimately wanted this to happen. It wasn't one conversation, it was many conversations. She got spiritually married to this guy, whatever that means, and she was in love with him. And the evidence was clear. She was guilty as sin. She pled guilty. And actually, I don't know if she pled guilty. Did she plead guilty? I feel like she did.
Oh my God.
There's no talking your way out of that.
It'd be so much worse if she pled not guilty.
Yeah. And because it was so clear, it's like it should have been a much heavier prison sentence. And like I watched the witness impact statement from Aaron Goodwin, and I wish I didn't watch it. It felt intrusive to even watch it. He was so heartbroken, and it was really tough to watch. If
I turned it off.
Yeah, don't watch it. I didn't even finish the clip because you're just watching a grown man who I look up to. I like Aaron Goodwin. He's always been my favorite member on Ghost Adventures. Unless Zach Baggins wants to come on the show, he's my favorite. But I've always liked Aaron. He's the goofball of the show, and you grow up watching these guys, you look up to them. But it was sad to watch, and it made me even more mad that she didn't get more time for that crime, because I think you're spot on, Dave, with your point there. The only difference I will say, and I think we talked about this off air, the only difference is with attempted murder and murder is obviously there's a dead body in a murder case. So that's why it's going to hold a much heavy prison sentence, because obviously nobody died.
It's like an end justifies the means. It's like a utilitarian take on morality, and it doesn't work that way. Like if the
I completely understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's better that Aaron Goodwin didn't get murdered, which is why she's going to get less time. Had that murder actually taken place, of course she would have gotten more time. But I do agree with you on a moral standpoint that it should be the same sentence. But I do understand a little the whole justice system across the world is absolutely fucked. But there should be more time for that kind of stuff. Absolutely. 100%.
It's almost like they were like, you didn't do it. You get some less time so that you can get out and just try it again in a little bit.
Yeah. People like that will try it again. Yeah, they will. You don't marry a murderer who I don't think you've ever met in person spiritually when you're already married in real life to a millionaire superstar, by the way. And it's just like people. I don't think you can fix people like that. And poor Aaron, he had said that basically he was willing to try to make things work even after he found out she was cheating on him and everything. Just terrible story all around.
Yeah.
Yeah. No fun.
Yeah.
Thoughts out to Aaron while he goes through this, because that is terrible.
Yep.
Yeah. But that has been our paranormal update.
Yes. So if you find a news story you want us to cover on a paranormal update, send it over and we will think about it. And probably cover it. We're running out of stories. Yep. So that'll pretty much do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time for another episode of Hometown Ghost Stories. Join us on Tuesday. We'll see you then.